Hello everybody, Joshua back here again with another video, and I'm here to give you another top 5. It's that time of the week again, so let's get into this week's top 5 list. Now, obviously, continuing my top 5 BVS videos, last time I did my top 5 Batman love interest, and to continue the trend, I'm doing to this week my top 5 Superman love interest. Now, I want everyone to keep in mind before listening into the ranking of the top 5 love interest of Superman, the Man of Steel himself, I need to make everyone keep in mind that, as always, it's subjective. It's my personal thoughts, my personal list. So, of course, if mine differ from yours, please comment below your personal top 5 Superman love interest list. But that being said, also I want everyone to keep in mind that it was very difficult to come up with this list ranking. And less about the ranking, but more about the characters that can be on the list. Because, unlike Batman or other characters in comic book lore, Superman does not have that many girlfriends. He's not had that many love interests in his comic book history. Being the Man of Steel, you would think that he would have multiple supermodel-looking girlfriends. Unfortunately, he's always been a one-woman kind of guy. And as admirable as that is, and as noble as that sounds, it's kind of boring when it comes to this kind of a top 5. However, I did pick out a specific 5 specific characters that are very important and are very obvious to Superman's mythology at a specific point in his history. So I think it's going to work out pretty fine for the status quo for this kind of a list. However, I just needed to point that out because, once again, he's not had that many love interests, and other than the obvious that I'm pretty much going to get to later on, it's kind of hard and difficult to come up with multiple girls that he's been in love with. But that being said, let's move on of that nonsense and get into the top 5. Company number 5 has to go to Lori Lemaris, a mermaid. Yes, back in the day, Superman went to Atlantis and fell in love with a mermaid. Now, I'm pretty sure all the Disney freaking wackadoos out there would kind of, I guess for some reason, be okay with this kind of a thing, considering the fact that I'm pretty sure every kid had like a kid boner maybe for like the Little Mermaid back in the day. However, yeah, back in the day, Superman fell in love with a mermaid, and they were actually legitimately in love together. Now, I know I'm kind of bashing this to a certain... I'm sounding like I'm bashing it. However, I'm not. It's just very interesting in today's lore and in point in time where you just go back and you're just thinking, wow, Superman fell in love with a mermaid. It sounds cool back in the day, but now it just sounds kind of stupid. However, it's true, and she will always go down in history as one of the many love interests of the Man of Steel. But moving off that, going up to number 4 on this list, has to go to Superwoman. Yes, Luma Lina, or Lena, if you will. I don't know how to pronounce it perfectly. However, back in the day, I guess there was a certain point in DC history, or Superman history, where I guess they wanted Superman and Supergirl to be a thing, be an item together. However, because Game of Thrones wasn't around back then, it was inappropriate for Superman to be with Supergirl. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, granted, they come from the same fucking planet, they have the same abilities. Supergirl is the only female in all of the DC universe that can really be with Superman because they share the same Kryptonian physiology and DNA and all that kind of crazy wackiness. But once again, Game of Thrones wasn't back there. They couldn't fucking be okay with that kind of incestual family kind of banging. That would have been super inappropriate for the kids at home. However, I guess Supergirl went around the galaxy and found a Superwoman, ironically, that would be a physical counterpart for Superman, the Man of Steel. However, their relationship was not going to last forever due to the fact that apparently Superwoman's kryptonite is Earth's yellow sun. And of course, Earth's yellow sun powers Superman to become the hero of Earth. Unfortunately, because he fell in love with Superwoman rather, he wanted to leave Earth, leave all of that behind, specifically to be with her. Unfortunately, she felt that it was more appropriate to go back to Earth and just forget about her because the Earth needed a Superman. This relationship didn't really need to exist in comparison to how much you being on Earth and being their savior, it needs to exist. So, as much as it's ridiculous that this whole kind of story formulated, it's just kind of interesting just to go back and think that Superman was willing to give up everything to be with this one person. Unfortunately, it was not to be. But that being said, moving off of that, going to number 3 has to go to Lana Lang. Lana Lang, obviously, is the first Superman girlfriend, seeing as how she was, I guess, in a more PC kind of wearing. She was the high school sweetheart of Clark Kent. Back in the Smallville days, she was freaking Clark Kent's girlfriend. And she was also the main focus for the TV show Smallville, which I'm sure a lot of people checked out if you're a hardcore Superman fan. And she's always been there in all parts of media as a specific love interest / girlfriend to Clark Kent and or Superman. And I've always been a fan of Lana Lang. I always thought she was very appropriate for Superman's life building to become the specific person that he is today. And their relationship is always kind of cute. That's kind of like the best way you can put it. They just have a very cute relationship. I don't want to go into major spoilers into what happens or why they... Let's just put it this way. The second he fucking left Smallville and went to Metropolis to work for the Daily Planet as Superman / Clark Kent, new shit happened. Better shit, probably, depending on your personal perception. However, Lana Lang will always be there as one of the first girlfriends / love interest and just a high school sweetheart. But that being said, moving off that, going to number 2 on this list, has to go to the woman herself, Wonder Woman, Diana. Freaking awesome character. However, if you already know and are subscribed to my channel, then you would know that I'm obviously not a big fan of this relationship for various reasons. However, there is no denial that Wonder Woman and Superman pretty much are very much the same. They're very similar, and they're kind of perfect for each other. Even though I may not be big on the relationship because I kind of like Batman to be with her. However, a lot of Superman fans will disagree with that and go for this relationship. However, I can't deny that they are kind of physically appropriate for one another. They have a lot of various similarities, and they're both the strongest, most superpowered characters of their universe. And there's not really much you can say. It's Superman and Wonder Woman. It's a dynamic freaking relationship. It's a dynamic freaking love status quo that DC has created for themselves. Of course, that was for the New 52, and a lot of people have their various reasons for not liking New 52. However, Superman and Wonder Woman being together, probably for that specific continuity, not the worst thing ever. But that being said, if you're making a list of the top 5 love interests, Wonder Woman has to be there. But however, skipping their honorable mentions and getting to number 1, there is only one definitive love interest for Superman, for Clark Kent, for the Kryptonian who is the savior of Earth, and that is Lois Lane. Lois Lane is the definitive love interest to Superman. There is only one. It's Lois and Clark. It's Clark and Lois. It's Superman, the Man of Steel, with Lois Lane of, reporter for the Daily Planet. It's a dynamic freaking relationship. In comparison to Wonder Woman, where I feel like it's more of like a physical kind of relationship, this one, it's different because Lois Lane is Superman's rock. If it wasn't for Lois, all Earth would be doomed because Superman would be a wackadoo, crazy emperor, freaking superpowered being that no one could stop except for Batman and various other characters that I don't want to mention due to hate. However, Lois Lane is just that rock. She is just an amazing character who has consistently always been side by side with Superman. Of course, once again, for specific continuities, they've changed that, and to be more specific, obviously the New 52, where they compared Wonder Woman with Superman. However, Lois Lane has always been there. She is just the same way how Catwoman / Selina Kyle is the definitive love interest to Batman. The definitive love interest to Superman will always be Lois Lane, especially in my book. But that being said, that's going to be it for this top 5. I had to end it short because honorable mentions, it's a complete waste of time considering the fact that he's a one-woman kind of guy, and that one woman is Lois Lane. And of course, these other girlfriends / love interests that I mentioned in my ranking of top 5. But that being said, comment below. Let me know what you personally think about this top 5 list of the top 5 love interests to Superman, the Man of Steel himself. If my list differs from yours, please comment below your ranking or personal list of the top 5 love interests. Of course, next time I'll be doing a Wonder Woman love interest list, which I feel so stupid for doing because considering the fact that she's way super into only one person, it's going to be very difficult to do that list in comparison to this one. I think this one was difficult. I'm pretty sure it's going to be extremely difficult to do the Wonder Woman list. However, I will be doing it one of these days after various weeks. Please be on the lookout for that. And of course, comment below. Let me know what you personally think about this list. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at John12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been John12.